Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unbreakable-You podcast. I am Olga Benyaminov, your healing and empowerment coach, and I am so happy that you joined today to summarize the month of May. If this is your first time joining this live, please follow for more. I go live every Wednesday, and every month I have a different theme that I follow in terms of healing and empowerment. If you missed the live, I always repost this on my YouTube channel and on my Spotify channel. So please follow for more. And I really want to summarize this before I start the topic for today because I want to take a moment to reflect on the past month that we have done those lives. This month, I focused on spirituality and we talked about protecting our energy. We talked about healing the woman within. And we also talked about choosing faith over fear. And if there's one thing I hope you take away from this entire month is that healing is possible. No matter the season that you're in right now, no matter how broken you feel, how exhausted, disappointed, or lost you may feel at this moment, you are still capable of rebuilding your life. This month was never just about motivation. It was about awakening. And I wanted you to awaken your worth, awaken your strength, awaken to the truth that you do not have to stay emotionally stuck forever. And today, I want to close this chapter of May with one of the most important conversations of all, and that is the next chapter. Your next chapter starts with you, not with the other person changing, not when timing is perfect, not with the external validation, and not with life that suddenly becomes easy. Your next chapter of your life begins the moment you decide, I deserve more. I deserve more for me, for my life. I want you to think about this question that I'm going to ask you and take a moment to answer this to yourself honestly. Who have you become because of what you've been through? Because pain certainly changes people. Heartbreak changes people. Divorce changes people. Whether you go through betrayal or disappointment or loss of certain changes with people, you go through changes. And sometimes pain makes people stronger. Sometimes pain makes them more guarded. And sometimes it makes them more anxious, more fearful, and even emotionally disconnected. But one of the biggest, greatest danger in life is allowing the pain to permanently define your identity. And so many people unknowingly build their life around survival. They become attached to this identity of being the hurt woman, being the rejected woman, being the abandoned woman, or even the overwhelmed one and the one that was betrayed. And while these experiences are certainly part of your story, they are not your entire identity. At some point, healing asks you, who are you becoming? Who are you becoming now? And that question is extremely powerful because healing is not just about recovering from pain. Healing is about creating a new relationship with yourself. And that should be much healthier relationship. It should be a most honest relationship. And your relationship with yourself should be more compassionate relationship. And sometimes that means grieving old version of yourself. Grieving the version that tolerated less than she deserved. Grieving the version of you that stayed silent. And even grieving the version of you that begged for love. You can also grieve the version that abandoned herself, trying to keep other people happy. You can truly love who you were, but you can also realize that you cannot stay there forever. Growth requires change. And change can feel so uncomfortable because as human beings, we naturally cling to familiarity, even when that familiar feeling hurts us. Sometimes people stay emotionally attached to pain because pain becomes so familiar. Pain becomes what they're used to. But familiar does not always mean healthy. And I think one of the hardest things about starting a new chapter is that people often wait to feel fully ready before they begin. But most transformations in life actually begin before you feel ready. It begins when you are scared. It starts with uncertainty. You can start healing while still hurting. You can start rebuilding while still grieving. And that's okay. You don't need to become perfect before you begin again. You simply need the willingness. The willingness to heal, to grow. The willingness to stop betraying your own self. The willingness to choose peace. And the willingness to believe that your future can still be beautiful. One of the most powerful things that you can do is stop waiting for someone else to rescue you emotionally. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to save you in the way that you must learn to save yourself. And I don't mean that harshly. I mean that in an empowering way. Because the moment you realize that you have the power to rebuild your life, everything changes. Your healing becomes your responsibility. Your peace becomes your responsibility. Your boundaries that you set become your responsibility. And even the growth is your responsibility. And yes, of course, support matters. Community matters. Coaching is important. Therapy is important. Healthy relationships matter. But ultimately, nobody can do your inner work for you. And the beautiful thing is, when you begin doing that work, your entire life starts shifting. The relationships you tolerated change. The way you speak to yourself changes. Your standards start changing. Your confidence changes. The energy around you changes. You begin attracting different people. You begin attracting things differently because you begin seeing yourself in a different light. And today I really want to speak to that woman who feels emotionally exhausted. I want to speak to that woman who feels like they lost themselves somewhere along the way. Maybe through heartbreak, maybe through being mother and carrying that motherhood, maybe through survival, and maybe even through the years of putting everyone else first. I want you to hear this. You are still not too late. You are not too broken. You are not disqualified from joy just because of your past. You still are allowed to begin again. At any age, in any season, after any setback. Your life is not over because life becomes difficult. Sometimes the breaking season becomes the awakening season. Sometimes the ending actually becomes the beginning. And yes, starting over is scary. But staying stuck in a painful situation is even scarier. At some point, you have to ask yourself, what kind of future do I want to create for myself? Now, not in 5 years, not 5 years ago, not before the heartbreak, not before the betrayal. Now, what kind of peace do you want? What kind of relationship do you want? What kind of energy are you looking for? And what kind of love and life do you want? Because clarity changes direction. And your future begins with the choice that you make today. Small choices matter. Choices of rest. Choices of boundaries. Any choice of healing matters. Those choices that you make, the honest choices about yourself, matter. Choices about what you deserve matters. You don't need to rebuild your entire life overnight. Small, daily healings create massive transformation over time. Now I want us to pause for a minute. And I want you all to take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. And take a second to just imagine yourself. Imagine yourself standing at the doorway of your new chapter. Imagine yourself behind the pain. Imagine that pain just behind you. All the fear, all those old patterns, old wounds, old version of yourself. Imagine yourself standing in front of this new door with everything in the back of you. And in front of you, there's a possibility. In front of you, there's peace, growth, confidence, healing, strength. In front of you, there is purpose. Imagine yourself stepping forward. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, but intentionally. And I want you to silently repeat after me. I release the past. I forgive myself. I choose healing. I choose growth. I choose peace. I choose myself. And my next chapter begins now. Now take a deep breath and slowly open your eyes. I want you to remember something very important. You survived every difficult season that once made you believe that you would not. And that means that there is strength inside you that you may not fully recognize yet. Don't underestimate the power of you when you decide to rebuild yourself. That woman becomes unstoppable. And before I finish, I want you to step into your next chapter. Because healing is not a 1-month journey. Growth is not a 1-month journey. This is a lifelong work. And if you need help with forgiveness, because forgiveness is the first step of healing, I am doing a 5-part healing every Monday at 8 a.m. There's a video that's being posted about forgiveness. It's a forgiveness work that I have done, but you can do the same thing. And there's so many different things that you can do in the way of healing. Reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help with that. In June, I want to go even deeper than that. Once you identify that spirituality and once you make that decision that you deserve better and you want better life for yourself, I want to step into the theme of June, which is relationships, love, emotional ability, boundaries, attachment, and becoming emotionally healthy in the way that we love ourselves before we can love others. Because many people know how to survive, but not how to create healthy love. And that healthy love really begins with loving yourself. And that is what I want to explore next month together. So if this month spoke to your heart, if these sessions helped you, and if you're ready to continue to heal and grow, I invite you to join me again in June. Every Wednesday, I will go live at around 2 p.m. and I will teach you one component. And for these of you who feel called to much deeper healing and transformation, this is also the work I do through coaching. Because I don't just teach from textbooks, I teach from experience. I teach this from rebuilding myself. I teach this from healing me and from learning how to rise after life breaks you time and time again. Thank you all very much for being with me today and this month. I really want you to feel open, feel vulnerable. Know that this is a safe space for you to express your vulnerability. Have the courage and the willingness to heal. Remember, your next chapter doesn't begin when life becomes perfect. Your next chapter begins the moment you decide that you are worthy. Thank you all for joining, and I will see you all back in June.